All right, let's talk about FTX. We're going to get into the absolutely spectacular collapse of this crypto giant and its founder, Sam Bankman-Fried. I mean, this is a story about crazy ambition, incredible deception, and a multi-billion-dollar implosion that, it really sent shockwaves through the entire crypto world.
So this is the question, right? This is what it all boils down to. How on earth did this guy, this 30-year-old so-called effective altruist, the guy who supposedly slept on a beanbag chair, convince the smartest people in the world to hand over $32 billion, only to allegedly walk away with $9 billion of it? It's the core puzzle of this whole saga. It's all about image versus reality, and how a really good story can hide some really, really bad things. I mean, just look at this contrast. It is absolutely wild. On one side, you've got the public image he built so carefully, the humble, kind of nerdy genius who just wanted to save the world. But then, you pull back the curtain, and the alleged reality is something else entirely. We're talking massive fraud, secret luxury penthouses, and sketchy political donations. So how in the world did he pull it off? How did he live this double life? Okay, so to really get how it all came crashing down, we have to go back to the beginning. We have to look at that incredible meteoric rise. Because it all started with this one very powerful idea, and an even more powerful public persona to sell it. And that idea was effective altruism. Basically, the philosophy is you use logic and data to figure out the best way to help people. For SBF, that meant earning to give, making a ton of money so you can give it all away. And boy, did he become the poster child for this. The story he told everyone was just so compelling, right? He was going to dive into the crazy world of crypto, make an absolute fortune, not for himself, oh no, but to give every last cent to charity. Who wouldn't love a story like that? And build a fortune he did. I mean, the speed was just unbelievable. He put together this massive crypto empire that for a while there, it honestly looked like nothing could stop it. Think about this timeline for a second. The speed is just staggering. In only 5 years, SBF goes from being a quantitative trader to a full-blown industry titan. He kicks things off with his trading firm, Alameda Research, in 2017. Just 2 years after that, he launches the FTX exchange, and it just explodes. By early 2022, it's valued at $32 billion. That's billion with a B. And pretty soon, the FTX brand was just everywhere. You couldn't escape it. You had A-list celebs like Tom Brady and Steph Curry telling you it was the future. They dropped $135 million just to slap their name on the Miami Heat's basketball arena. But you gotta understand, this wasn't just about flashy marketing. This was a very deliberate plan to buy legitimacy, to buy trust from everyday people. But here's the thing. Behind all the shiny celebrity ads, behind that massive billion-dollar valuation, the foundation of this whole empire, it was built on sand. It was dangerously, and as it turns out, fatally flawed. And then came the moment it all started to unravel. The first domino tipped over on November 2nd, 2022. A crypto news site called CoinDesk got its hands on a private balance sheet from Alameda Research, SBF's other company, the one that was supposed to be a separate trading firm. And what was in that document? Well, it revealed a secret, a huge, critical vulnerability at the heart of everything. $5.8 billion. That's the number. A staggering $5.8 billion of the assets Alameda was using as collateral, the stuff they used to back up their risky trades, was made up of FTT. And what's FTT? It's the crypto token that FTX itself just invented. So the trading firm's stability was resting on a token created and controlled by its own sister company. You see the problem here?
Yeah, this is what everyone means when they say it was a house of cards. Let's break it down real simple. SBF's entire empire was basically propped up by funny money that he himself had printed out of thin air. It wasn't backed by real dollars or independent assets. It was this crazy, closed loop just waiting for the slightest breeze to knock it all down.
And wouldn't you know it, that gust of wind came, and it came fast. What happened next was one of the quickest, most stunning corporate collapses, in modern history. So that balance sheet news got out, and it totally spooked FTX's biggest rival, Binance. They basically tweeted, yeah, we're selling all of our FTT tokens. We're out. And that single announcement was the match that lit the fuse. It sparked a massive panic, a classic bank run. Everybody rushed to pull their money out of FTX all at once, but here's the kicker. FTX didn't have the money. Within just 72 hours, it was over. They slammed the brakes on all withdrawals, and the entire $32 billion company was bankrupt.
So, FTX is bankrupt. The lawyers and the new cleanup crew come in to pick through the rubble. And what they discovered, well, it was so much worse than anybody, and I mean anybody, could have possibly imagined.
The person they brought in to clean up this mess was a guy named John J. Ray III. Now, this isn't just some random lawyer. This is the guy who oversaw the Enron bankruptcy. He's seen it all. And what did he say about FTX? He said it was, quote, the worst failure of corporate controls I have ever seen. Let that sink in. The Enron guy said this was worse than Enron. That says it all, doesn't it?
And he wasn't exaggerating. The company was a total black box. I mean, there were zero normal business practices. They found that billions of customer dollars had been secretly wired over to Alameda to cover its massive trading losses. Get this, there was no accounting department. None. Expenses were being approved with emojis in a chat group. Customer money was basically treated like SBF's personal piggy bank, used to buy up hundreds of millions in luxury real estate, including, an alleged $16 million vacation home for his parents.
When they finally did the math, the numbers were just mind-numbing. $9 billion of customer money, just gone, vanished. And then, to add the ultimate insult to injury, while the company was already in bankruptcy, a hacker somehow came in and stole another $500 million. You just can't make this stuff up.
Well, as you can imagine, the legal hammer came down, and it came down hard. In November of 2023, a jury didn't waste any time. They found Sam Bankman-Fried guilty on all 7 counts of fraud and conspiracy. He is now facing a potential prison sentence of up to 115 years.
Okay, so SBF is convicted, but the story doesn't really end there. The implosion of FTX leaves us with some really big, really important questions. And these aren't just about one guy or one company. They get to the very heart of how venture capital works, how crypto is regulated, and honestly, just how we decide who to trust.
Here's maybe the biggest question for the entire investment world. How? How did some of the smartest, most sophisticated venture capital firms in Silicon Valley pour billions of dollars into this company without ever checking on the most basic financial controls? We're talking about things a first-year accounting student would flag as a problem. Did they miss it, or did they just choose to ignore it?
And this brings up a huge red flag about regulation. Why are crypto exchanges allowed to operate by a different set of rules? I mean, if you put money in a normal stock brokerage, they are legally required to keep your money separate from their own company money. It's a fundamental rule. The fact that FTX and other exchanges didn't have to follow that simple rule is the exact reason a fraud of this size was even possible.
And that brings us all the way back to where we started. That persona, the effective altruist. Was any of it real? Or was it just the greatest cover story ever told? A perfectly designed narrative to make everyone trust him, to make everyone look the other way, while he was allegedly pulling off one of the biggest financial crimes in history. You know, it really makes you think about the power of a good story, and what it says about us, that we were so willing to believe it.